Today is episode 6 of Alternative Future of the World. In the last episode, not much really happened. We have Morocco joining the WTO and switching its name from NATO to WO. Australia joined the WTO. Well, Australia was like part of WTO. We had the PDO being created, which was pretty major. To be honest, it doesn't really have a reason but to be a defence organisation against the CSTO, which is kind of crumbling. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not crumbling like Philly. It's losing its grip, because they lost Ukraine, which was probably one of their strongest countries. Russia is kind of like, I don't know, Belarus and Russia at this point are said something about uniting. Estonia is really rebellious. Russia's kind of lost Serbia, as well as, they still have Iran, and they lost India, because India kind of said, screw you. The only other ally I could really say they have is... to be honest, I don't know, because, at this point, Armenia's dead, so that's not even a thing. They lost Yemen, they lost Syria, who isn't even their friend. Iran has put on a lot of pressure being between two big powers. Turkey hates him, and... No, I don't actually know. I would assume India and Iran have good relations, because, yeah. I guess you could say Russia's kind of lost China, but China's, dead. At this point in time, China's just focused on trying to rebuild itself. Every time they do that, they fail and recollapse, so... Yeah, kind of an ongoing thing, and they're experiencing a lot of problems with Manchuria, Tibet, and Xinjiang. As well as Guangxi. I don't know if that's how you say it. Obviously now the PDO by here, it's not good. By the way, the Philippines does want to join the PDO, but right now they aren't. But finally we're going to get into some wars. Coming down here to South Africa. In the last video, they unite with Lesotho and invade Eswatini. And they're going to continue to expand. But they're going to expand in now. South Africa, in this timeline, they're better than they are right now in real life. But, that South Africa is trying to expand. So we have South Africa declaring war on Botswana. Now, nobody's going to join this war, because nobody wants to join this war. And in reality, Botswana is extremely weak. So South Africa kind of just... South Africa is one of the most powerful countries in Africa. At this point, they might be the third, and I'm saying that because it's the East African Federation. But Gaborone is captured, and after that, the rest of Botswana is just desert. So Botswana is going to surrender. I'm not going to colour it in because I hate the thing. Botswana says they're going to get a speech treaty. And just like that, South Africa's fully annexed Botswana, and Namibia is terrified. By the way, any other countries I'm going to talk about in here, Africa's becoming a lot more united. We had the West African Federation unite last episode, and Nigeria doesn't like it. Same with the WTO, because they're more allied with Russia than they are WTO. India's more on the side of the WTO, same with Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. Although that's technically because India... That's technically because they're only alive because of India. If India... Look, Sri Lanka, by the way, is, they're not doing too well. In real life, they're not doing well, but at this point, they're not doing well. May unite with India. Myanmar is not doing well, and to be honest, every other country's doing fine. Except for maybe, Bolivia. By the way, we're coming over to South America. We finally have unification between Ecuador and Colombia. So those who unite, and all Colombia now needs is part of Brazil and Venezuela. Oh, yeah, Venezuela's got American government, so yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So, yeah, the world's becoming a lot more well, one side of the world thinks there's going to be a massive conflict again, but, to be honest, the CSTO, NATO, WTO don't really want to fight. But you know who does want to fight? Egypt and Ethiopia. Ethiopia's been neutral this entire series, but, Egypt has had enough. So in real life, Ethiopia is damming the Nile, so we have Egypt saying they've had enough, as Egypt is now, not, the Nile at this point is being completely dammed by Ethiopia. So you have Egypt declaring war on Ethiopia. Now, one issue with this war, Egypt doesn't border Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is landlocked. So, somebody would have to get involved, and that country would be Sudan. Problem is, Egypt attacks Sudan. So Sudan decides to not join this war. Instead, they're going to join this war on the side of Ethiopia. Kind of crazy, but the Sudanese government decides they do not like Egypt, and they're going to join on the side of them. Another country who hates Sudan is the Southern Federation, but they're also allied with Ethiopia, so if they were to join the red team, it wouldn't make any sense, but, they really don't know what to do. So, yeah, they're going to supply Ethiopia, but not actually join this war, unless, Sudan capitulates or something. Then they'll join the side of Ethiopia. Well, you know what, actually, forget everything I said. They're not going to join the side of Ethiopia. They're more focused on South Africa right now. Seriously? Forget it. But this war is going to escalate way more than you think, because, forget everything I just said. East African Federation joins the war on the side of Ethiopia. Yep, they don't care. They decide, Sudan, we may have invaded them, but we really don't care. Straight away after this, we have Somalia and Eritrea declaring war on Ethiopia, in the hopes of maybe taking them out. Eritrea is going to join this war as well. I think I just said that. Also, Eritrea has an issue with Ethiopia, so it makes sense. And that's going to escalate way more, as we have Libya join the side of Egypt. And this war is definitely escalating into, a continental war. But at this point, nobody else even dares to join. If they were to join, this would be, this is going to be one hell of a war. Now, Sudan is crippled, but Egypt decides that Sudan is, dead at this rate. But Egypt says Egypt's going to just invade them. Egypt's army is massive. They're probably one of the top 10 countries in this scenario. Sudan is going to get slapped. Sudan loses Khartoum, in the first few weeks of this war. And after that, it's really only a few areas that are good, like the coast, where Egypt's going to say no to that and take it over. It's not looking pretty. And this war is going to be mostly a stalemate, because these are some pretty powerful countries we have on the red side. Well, it's mostly just Egypt. But Sudan is complete. Sudan is killed. After Sudan loses Khartoum, they just cripple. And also, in the middle of this war, Darfur declared their independence from Sudan. So yeah, Darfur declares independence, and that basically leads to the destruction of Sudan. By the way, this is not going to be a fun war no matter what. So after this, we have major, supplies going towards Eritrea like mad, because they don't really lose Eritrea. Somalia is not in a good situation. They're completely surrounded, so Somalia is going to cripple. They will. Somaliland declares their independence straight away and joins Ethiopia's side. And after that, Somalia is steamrolled. And Libyan troops start to arrive with Egyptian troops, and it looks this war isn't going to get much better. Ethiopia is trying to hold off the Egyptians, but it's not enough. Egypt's army is just massive, but thanks to Ethiopia's geography, we only have Egypt being able to make it into the flat areas. Since South Sudan's just rebel chaos, like there's so much greater warfare here that Egypt just says no. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have Egypt pushing into South Sudan. Like this area this area got steamrolled twice by Sudan and the East African Federation. So they are able to invade South Sudan, but it just doesn't go well. But at this point, East African Federation is fully mobilized, and this front here doesn't look too good. It's completely destroyed. It's completely destroyed because the East African Federation is most likely the second strongest country in Africa because they don't care. So yeah, we have pushback here, but once again, this is just a guerrilla warfare area, and it's mostly just a stalemate. Like nobody can really attack each other because Egypt is obviously Egypt's army, but Ethiopia and East African Federation basically are matching them. This war is going to go on for ages. In that time, we see Egyptian troops being able to make a counteroffensive, which is able to actually encircle over 100,000 East African and Ethiopian troops. And this is just going to be a bigger ouchie, because just ouch. Like, ouch. So yeah, after that we have Ethiopia losing a good chunk of land. But sadly for Egypt, they lost South Sudan. Well, they lost the areas they had occupied there. But everywhere else, the East African Federation can't really push into. This front over here is pushed back just a little bit, but like Egypt has got good area on that lockdown, and also they lost 100,000 troops. They're really just dead. A little pushback happens around here, but in reality, this war becomes a big stalemate with nobody making any gains. Finally, in the next few weeks, we have Eritrea and as well as Egypt being able to push down to Ethiopia just a little bit more. And we have the East African Federation being able to liberate a little bit of Sudan. Like, I mean a little bit. Just look how much I to compare to Sudan. But eventually these two sides realize this war couldn't go nowhere and meet up for a peace treaty in Addis Ababa. I know. In this peace treaty, Africa's kind of shook up. Egypt takes over all the coast of Sudan as well as more of this area. I didn't have the right colour. They take over more of this middle land, and Egypt becomes pretty powerful power. Darfur is released as a new country in Africa, and we come over here. Somalia is dead. Like, they don't even exist. Like, Somalia lost Somaliland as well as part of their land. And it might be a bit strange, but Ethiopia didn't get any land from this. They actually lost land. Eritrea took a huge chunk. Well, not really, but compared to their size, they have probably double their land mass. And at this point, Sudan, they're already pretty dead, but not really dead because they just lost Darfur as well as a part of their country. They're gonna make a pretty interesting choice here and unite with the East African Federation. And Ethiopia is also going to make a pretty interesting decision, and well, they're gonna now. Okay, this is gonna take place within like 10 years, so there's gonna be more events around the world. But Ethiopia sends diplomats over to the East African Federation saying, "Hey, we don't really want to be your enemy, and we really don't want to be allies." But Ethiopia said, We just got beaten up by Eritrea and as well as Egypt and Libya, and we kind of want to unite with you. Now, this takes forever, but eventually, in the year, let's say, 2097, Ethiopia and the East African Federation meet up in the capital, which is Kinshasa, Kinshasa, I think, Kinshasa, or let's say Dodoma, and they discuss, and the results are in, and 97% of Ethiopians said they want to unite with the East African Federation. Now that was a humongous amount. The 3% of people were most likely rebellions, or people who just didn't like the Ethiopian government at all, and just didn't like any type of government or the allies of Ethiopia. But they unite, and at this point, these African Federation is massive. Like, this is humongous. Like, this is bigger than the West African Federation. And we also have more countries joining this. Remember how I said Malawi wanted to join? Well, they joined as well. Zambia is more like, I don't know, Zambia is not going to join for now. They want to join, but they can't really. Let me just raise this line. So, we also have, really only one other country applying to their join. That's Somaliland and CAR. Yeah, so Africa is definitely becoming more divided. Like, the amount of countries never mind. Now we come over to Asia, where, remember what I said about Iran being pretty close with the CSTO? Well, Iran finally shows their true colours, and, well, everyone knew this, but Iran officially joins the CSTO. Yeah, they joined the CSTO completely, just disbanding, they joined the CSTO, that's what I'm trying to say, and this is honestly quite interesting, because now we have an even longer border between the CSTO and NATO. But, the CSTO is actually having some issues. See, the CSTO is mostly just Russia and Iran, as well as Belarus, keeping everyone together. And eventually, remember what I said? Well, Belarus and Russia finally unite. And this is because they have talked about uniting. Probably not anymore because they gave nukes to Belarus, but never mind. But the CSTO is collapsing right after Iran's jointness. We have Turkmenistan leaving. Now, Turkmenistan joined in episode 5, and ever since they kind of didn't like it. We also have another country deciding to leave. Probably a really unexpected one, but Kazakhstan leaves. Probably the closest Central Asian country to Russia. Kazakhstan is definitely more, neutral at this point. And the world is shocked because the CSTO is collapsing. They just lost one of their top 3 strongest members, being Kazakhstan. And following up by that, we have Uzbekistan leaving. And eventually, Kyrgyzstan, this might take a while, but we have Kyrgyzstan leaving, because they hate Tajikistan, so they leave. And Tajikistan is also going to leave. Now, this shocked the world. Nobody even expected this. And we have Russia and Iran, as well as their leaders, who aren't the leaders present. No, they've definitely passed. They meet up in Tehran, and both decide that this alliance has to be disbanded. So Iran and Russia officially disband the CSTO. Probably didn't even expect CSTO to be disbanded in this episode, but this episode it's going to be a big one. So Russia and Iran disband the CSTO, ending the CSTO fully. The world is shocked. Peru. I don't know what to do about Peru. So Peru is most likely a Russian puppet at this point. Not Russian puppet. But they're most likely have a government that's really connected to Russia. So we can imagine if they were invaded, Russia would join the war. But yeah, they're gonna be leaving as well. Well, no, it's North Peru, I forgot. North Peru leaves. Yep, the CSGO just ended. Why has it got that really green colour? But yeah, the world is just Western dominated. Like, with the disbanding of CSGO, it's probably just Russia, Iran, and, like, at this point in time, the NATO looks around at what enemies they even have anymore. They mostly just look around at Africa, and they say, West African Federation, Egypt, and South Africa. Look at Asia, Russia, China, and Iran. South America, North Peru. North America, nobody but Nicaragua. Well, and Cuba, but Cuba is most likely just neutral at this point. Well, I can't say neutral, but they're most likely neutral. And that's it. So, that's the end of the video. So, this was an eventful video. There was a massive war in Africa, which basically led... I'm probably going to touch on the powers in Africa at this rate. So, I'm going to rate on the 5 strongest. Number 1 by far, like by a really long shot, Egypt all the way. I'll put them at a solid 9th place in the world rankings. Next would be the East African Federation. I'll put them maybe like the 19th strongest, just because they're still kind of developing. 3rd place, South Africa. I would say they're like probably the 27th. 4th, the French-controlled Algeria, only because it's Algeria by France and they probably got supplied. 5th, Nigeria, and I'll give you 6th one, Morocco. That's going to be the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.